Hello again, welcome to Spotlight, an autumn glow of artistic wonders.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, most of the show is given over to the second of our walk-around profiles of the island's art galleries, and this week we're down south. Or is that up south? Also though, we have time to catch up with this year's Big Bree Weekend. As always, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you may be involved in planning. Yes, you know, hoping to create, would really like to put in the spotlight. Be they poetic, visual, theatrical, musical, literary, mime, and all the others. Just email me, spotlight@manxradio.com, or, if you prefer, direct to me, howardkane@manxradio.com. I will give a free Manx Radio water bottle to the first person who gets something in, and we can do a chat. How much more incentive do you need? So what's coming up fast on the rails in the next few days? Well, Culture Vannon's Big Bree Workshop Weekend. That's what. Try saying that after a shandy. This year's music, song, dance and drama activities will have an inter-Celtic theme, exploring the culture of the Isle of Man alongside its Celtic cousins, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, Cornwall and Brittany. To find out more, I dropped into Culture Vannon to have a chat with Dr. Chloe Woolley, Manx Music Development Officer for Culture Vannon.
Well, it's 2 days of fun-filled workshops devoted to Manx music, singing, dancing, drama, a little bit about folklore, and then at the end of the weekend, we put on a little show for family and friends. So it's open for children aged 10 to 18. If they can play an instrument, that is brilliant. If they can't, but they like singing or dancing, that's excellent too. And we gather in St John's Methodist Hall at the beginning of the October half term. This year it's going to be a Sunday and a Monday, so that's the Sunday the 23rd and Monday the 24th of October.
It's aimed primarily at children, and is the idea to try and sort of generate enthusiasm for Manx culture in the next generation?
Well, it is, yeah. Well, Bree, we've been going for 16 years now, and it's a very informal youth club in many ways. We meet once a month if we can, for like a session, or to go busking, or we might have a guest tutor in or something. And we learn Manx songs, we do a little bit of Manx language, improve on our instruments, and it is a nice way of getting kids from all the different schools together and keeping the culture alive through live music making.
What sort of enthusiasm is there in sort of younger people? Because obviously here we are in sort of Culture Vannon headquarters. There's been a massive move, I think, over the last 10, 20 years, and great enthusiasm. Just next door as we're talking now, there's a Manx class going on. I mean, there's been a huge resurgence in the interest in Manx culture, Manx language, Manx music. Partly, I think, again, off the back of pandemic as well. I think that lots of people have been more interested in their culture. Are the next generation, or the young ones coming through now, is there an enthusiasm there as well, do you think? Can you sort of feel that it's trickling down through the generations?
I think so, yes. I think young people realise that the Isle of Man's got something unique to offer, and that they are the people that can take it forwards. Some of it could be a bit stuffy or boring, but at Bree we try and make it fun and accessible, so nothing's difficult. You're just getting involved and learning whilst having a good time.
All standards, so if anyone wants to go along to Bree, I mean, you don't have to be an expert player on the baran or the fiddle?
No, you don't. Any instruments are welcome as well. We've had brass instruments in the past, and we just cater. We find out from the application forms what instruments people play or how many people we're going to have to put a little choir together, and then we'll just cater what we do through for those people. And sometimes, we'll give them percussion instruments and they could be part of a folk band, or if we've got someone really talented on the saxophone, we'll give them a solo number, and we just work around it in that way.
Dance is catered for as well?
That's right, yes, yeah. So we have tutors that are active in the traditional music and dance scene. So we always have Manx dancing as part of it. This year's theme is actually going to be inter-Celtic. So we've never tried this before, but we always have a theme at Bree. And so this time we're going to be looking at the Isle of Man in relation to the Celtic cousins. So there's Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Cornwall and Brittany. And so we'll be very clever in the way that we do this. It's not just going to do a Welsh song or a Breton dance. We will mix it in with Manx culture. So we're planning to do a dance actually that takes in 6 styles of the Celtic dance, but it was created by Gráinne Deacon, who's a Manx dancer. So we're going to try that, and our drama, we're going to maybe look at some of the Irish folklore that's seeped into Manx history, and put on a little play with those who are willing to do a bit of acting.
So it's sort of a mini Cruinniach, is it?
It is in many ways, yes, yeah, but no competition element. So yeah, there's going to be something for everyone really. But it's nice, over the years we've had children who've come from the very early Bree weekends, and they've stuck with us, and some of them are teaching themselves now, or they've gone off to be in a band like Mick Lear or like Isla Collister, who's doing very, very well over in Glasgow. She was an early Bree member, and now she'll come back and do a workshop for us and teach the kids some of other tunes.
So there's a real, it really flows on. People continue with this and can actually go on to work professionally or semi-professionally in sort of Celtic music.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was all down to Bree, but at the same time, it provides that social element, and it's encouraging for other kids to see each other performing and enjoying Manx culture.
And speaking of bands, and you're talking about performers, I see Scran, the band, they've got another album coming out? They
have, yes. Yeah, so we're hoping to get it out in the next few months. Sadly, 3 of them have gone off to university this year, which that's the nature of an ever-evolving band like that. But yes, Scran will have their album, which is called Geese, which means number 2, out in a few months' time. So we're looking forward to that.
So if people want to get involved, then give us the dates and the contacts again of people thinking, ooh, I'd like to go along. Perhaps they've never been along before to a Bree weekend. How do they go about it?
Well, they can go on manxmusic.com and download the application form. Ideally, we want those by the 7th of October so we can plan who's going to be doing what. And so the Bree weekend takes place in St John's Methodist Hall, Sunday the 23rd, Monday the 24th, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. It's £10 to do both days, so absolute bargain. And
it's a bargain, yeah.
It is, it's very good value. And so if people can fill in the application form, any questions, they can just get in touch with me on manxmusic@culturevannon.im.
Lovely. And you'll be there?
I will, yes. I'll be shouting out instructions and putting the kettle on for the tutors.
And the Big Bree Workshop weekend takes place at St John's Methodist Hall on Sunday the 23rd and Monday the 24th of October. I think that's half term, isn't it? I think officially the closing dates have already passed. It's pretty popular. You need to get in quickly. But if you have a word with Chloe, you never know. I don't know. I can't promise anything. It might be full already.
Spotlight. Brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
Now, let's head south for the second of our profiles of the island's art gallery spaces. And this week, a venue everyone will be familiar with, though perhaps in a more theatrical context. OK, so here we are then in the next of our little mini-series profiling some of the art gallery spaces you can find around the Isle of Man. Not as many as you might think for a very artistic island. And I know, sadly, we have lost 1 or 2 in recent years. There are still good places around, of course, so we thought really we should give them a bit more airspace and go around to all of them. We're all still active, so the places that you can go and see some of the wonderful art in all its many shapes, forms, sizes and colours from a myriad of brilliant artists we have on the Isle of Man, working in pretty much any medium you care to think of, really, as you might hear in just a moment. So where have we headed this time? Well, we were down at Peel at the Art Space a week or so back, and now we've headed down south to a place that I think everyone at some stage will have been to, the Erin Arts Centre, a well-known space being here, set up with John Bethel, of course, many years ago and has developed tremendously from its early origins just as an old chapel. And whilst it's still identifiable as an old chapel in a way, it's gone a million miles from there and it's become a very active community hub and art space. And of course, as you know, as you come in through the gallery area or the area as you come into the porch and by the ticket office, you come into a space which is used for a display of art, as indeed there is something here at the moment. So we've come down to the man who currently is responsible for looking after this space. Just like to introduce yourself.
My name's Pip Rolfe. I think they call me creative director.
Creative director, that's grand.
But I always go to pains that I clean the toilets as well.
Proper hands-on work, So here we go. Then we do have this gallery, the Sir James Mellon Gallery, which if you look up, not everyone does as you go through the door, you'll see that's what it's called. And it is an active space and there's always, it seems to me, something going on there.
Yeah, we have, most exhibitions tend to go on between a month and 6 weeks. Unless we have a period where the space is dark and then obviously the artist gets an extended run. But we literally have one exhibition following another through the year, pretty much cross-discipline from painting, sculpture. We have currently a needlework exhibition, which we can go and have a look at.
Absolutely, and you're saying there was a mix last week. There was sort of some modern art and there's sort of the needlework here as well at the same time.
Well, yeah, we had a fantastic exhibition by a gentleman called Alex Colby, who does pretty large oil. I don't know if you describe them as surreal. Dali meets Geiger meets a bit of pop art.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, they were really
typical.
Good.
See, I missed that. That's just typical, isn't it?
And a beautiful contrast, because we always have on show in the space, we have a community knitting group here who meet every Tuesday. They're a fantastic, inspiring group of ladies, and the work that they make every Tuesday goes on sale in the centre. They give all of the proceeds to us, but they also knit for other charities as well, and they're just an incredible example of what a community group can be, and they've got great biscuits, and that always goes a long way with me.
Now we're talking. So how does it actually pan out when you say that they sort of one tailgates onto the other? Do the groups approach the gallery here, or is it something you go out and sort of say, right, we've got the space here if you want to come and put an exhibition on, or a bit of both?
It's absolutely a bit of both. We do get people phoning up, coming in, saying, I really like this exhibition, I work as well, would you be interested in? And sometimes it's just me going around the island, seeing things that interest me, and approaching people. So I would definitely say it's a bit of both. There was a great gentleman called Steve Nesbitt who carted a load of paintings in out of his van one day. And I thought he was just a great character, but it turns out he's a fantastic painter as well. And he had his sort of debut exhibition here. That was last year.
Wow, terrific. Well, we're stood outside the door. You said there's a bit of the wonderful needlework and woolwork I can see in through here. So we'll paddle through, shall we, and just go through the doors here under the sign, the Sir James Mellon Gallery. And again, you'll be familiar with the space if you've ever been down to the Erin Arts Centre, coming in past the green room where you go in as the artists into the performance space and the theatre. But today, we're not actually heading there for once. Lord knows how many times I've done that. We're actually staying to the right-hand side and coming down this area where the exhibitions take place. And it's fantastic. We were saying again, I suppose, for a lot of exhibition spaces, it's all about the light, and it's great that we've got the skylights coming all the way down here as well as the extra light. So it's just, you can really sort of play around the lighting and lots of nice natural light as well. Yeah,
it's fantastic and changeable, and sometimes you don't need the gallery lights on. Sometimes when it's really kind of grey and miserable outside, then yes, but you do get incredible natural light in here.
And the exhibition at the moment, as you say, it is just a whole plethora, I should say, of a multitude of colours and materials, but this is from the group. So this is all, you said this is the name of the group again?
They're called the Port Pearlers.
Fantastic. And there's just a complete array of what looks like needlework, needlepoint work, what appears to be knitting on one side as well. So these people are all local artists working in, like I said, it's like needlework, it's crafting, it looks like embroidery work.
Well, the driving force behind this was Margaret Galloway, who is the kind of head honcho of the Port Pearlers, and an indomitable lady, if I may say. And she had an idea a while ago to pull together basically an exhibition to inspire people who might want to come down and try it themselves, of different kinds of needlecraft. So she took things that had been created by the group, but also by the kind of wider community. We've had works donated by people all over the island for this exhibition. And the idea was that people would come down and maybe see things that they were familiar with, but equally things that they weren't, techniques that they weren't familiar with, and would maybe want to go away or come down on a Tuesday afternoon. They meet every Tuesday, people, and learn, and kind of to get some instruction.
Well, that's something, again, as I was saying at the beginning, never ceases to amaze me on the Isle of Man when you think it's, a relatively small space, 36 by 12, 86 odd thousand people. But the skill sets that are here, sometimes tucked away, I think, in little workshops and bedrooms and spare rooms and goodness knows what else. I mean, you name it, there will be someone somewhere, I can guarantee, beavering away, working in pretty much every medium known to man. And in this particular case, needlepoint and needlework, which I'm no expert on at all, although I'm more than capable of admiring a fine example of it. Now, crochet here on the left, as it says, yeah, I've had a little go at crochet at school. There's a piece in the middle which is gorgeous, which almost looks like sort of lace, which is tatting.
It's tatting.
I've never even heard of tatting.
Well, I just wish Margaret was here. She gave me a kind of bluffer's guide to tatting the other day. I know it's made with a shuttle, and you tie knots. These are all knots. This is made for radio, this piece, isn't it? I mean, it really is.
It's fantastic. I mean, the bottom line is, you've got to get down and have a look yourself, haven't you? You've got to come down here and take a look.
Absolutely. This exhibition is here until, off the top of my head, the end of the first week in November. And it's well worth seeing. Not only is the work that was made last week, but there are a couple of pieces here that were made in the 1800s.
Wow.
Sort of family heirlooms that people have donated just, for the purposes for the show, so to speak.
It's terrific. So you do need to come down and really take a look at this. The tatting, as I say, it looks like fine, sort of almost like coloured lace work to me. Very intricate. I shudder to think how many hours of work has gone into this thing, which is the size of a tablecloth on the wall, in lovely colours as well, not just the straight whites. Tatting, never actually heard of it, and we go a little bit further up. So you say we've got some of the old pieces here as well on display?
These, the pieces we can see here, that this was made by one of the ladies from the group, Marie Oliver. Mm-hmm. Now, this was a lockdown piece. I think a lot of people found their creative spark during lockdown, didn't they? And
definitely. I
think she did admit to me that she ordered this. This was a sort of kit, but this was modest, I think. So she embellished it quite heavily. But this is a beautiful kind of tapestry. Well, it's quilting actually. This.
It is quilting, I think, isn't it? Yeah, it's fantastic. And it's, again, it's the size of a quilt. It's hung up in multicolours. You've got plants, you've got gardening, you've got the sun, you've got lots of teas and mugs, and there's some writing in the middle. It's expressing, I suppose, what it's all about. So one with tea and plants all crocheted in, or at least embroidered in, I think it is, with the words, yes, their friendship revolved around cups of tea and gossip in the garden, which is a fine way to make a friend. And another one up on the left here saying the birds sang their morning song as the kettle started to boil. You get the gist of it. You see, you're coming around, you're having a tea, you're sitting in the garden, and then maybe you're talking about crafting, or you're talking about embroidering, or talking about tatting, as the case may be. Further up down here, we've got what looks like a shawl down here, some fantastic multicoloured sweaters. Even I could possibly wear that one. I don't know.
Margaret's husband Ian actually did model this. It's Joseph's psychedelic coat, isn't
it? You won't get knocked down in that, I tell you.
Definitely not. He modelled this for the opening of the exhibition. So I should have wanted to introduce the jazz festival, shouldn't I?
That would have been it. That is jazz in knitted form, I think, in every way. Some more traditional ones behind. We've got a shawl down here. We've got a throw, a beautiful one, or rather it takes me slightly more muted colours, which are really lovely, very autumnal, with birds and plants on, again, over a plant here. And then work on the side here, which is, I don't know how to describe this, because this is more like there's some needlework here, or needlepoint work, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. And this incredible lace, this sort of lace pictures here. You're just going to have to come down and see it.
That's the only answer. So a cracking space, like I said, here down at the Erin Arts Centre. One of the, we're hopefully going to get around all of them, but this is one that's been around. How long is it? Any idea how long the actual gallery's been here now?
Yeah, the gallery opened in 94. So I am quite literally, Howard, leading you up the garden path, because this, you probably remember this, this was the old pathway.
Yes.
That we're standing in now, and the front door being
That's
kind of
right.
at the top of the
That's
gallery.
right.
There.
I mean, I do remember just about, although I do have to go back and scratch my head a little bit to think about it now. But it's amazing, like I said, as we were saying at the beginning there, going back with sort of John's vision as well, to actually turn the space into a proper art centre. So you've got the sort of fully formed theatre there in the middle, space at the back for artists to get change and such like, and then having this space here, which I think was always the vision, to enable visual artists to display their work as well. And it's been a great success. It must be one of the longest continuously running galleries on the island now, I'd have thought, but I don't know.
You
I'm
probably
guessing.
know better than me, because there's been a bit of a hiatus in my Isle of Man career.
Well, someone will put me right if I'm wrong on that. Either way, it's been here for a good long time now and is well used. And as you say, it's still a popular space for people to come down from all around the island, although specifically from down south normally.
Well, you see, the problem, and this is going to be addressed, is that this place hasn't always been open on Saturday afternoons, and I think traditionally a lot of people go to see exhibitions on a Saturday.
Yeah,
so
I quite often do, to be
obviously
fair, but,
when we've got shows on, the place is open. But I think now that gallery space is at a bit of a premium on the island, I think it would really do us good to be open, maybe on the weekends. But it is just such a fantastic space. We've got, like I said, we've got 4 sort of big bays for paintings, this incredible light, and I'd like to. This is a challenge. I want some sculpture in here.
Sculpture, yes.
Yeah, like to all you sculptors out there, and seriously, if there are people, painters, sculptors, video artists, performance artists, anything, any medium out there who would like to put their work in this space, then just come down and see us and get in touch, because that's what we're for.
That's what galleries are for, and that's what the one down here at the Erin Arts Centre is for. Come and see Pip if you do have any ideas. You said there's more work, so this one's running with this wonderful, and I do encourage you to come and see this. Even if, like me, you know very little about working in fabrics, needlepoint, and tatting, fantastic, and it's going to be my favourite word for the rest of the day, that.
It's mine.
Then I encourage you to come and take a look and just see the amazing stuff on display. But you said this runs through till November, and there's something coming off the back of that then?
We've got an exhibition by the Glen May group, who are a group of artists who meet, clues in the title, at Glen May once a week, I think. So that will be a group show. And then hopefully after that we have the Southern Photographic. I think they have, it's either a Christmas or a New Year kind of display that they'd like to put up down here. So yeah, we'll, painting, photography, it all happens.
Terrific space.
But yeah, I'd like some sculpture.
Sculpture, there we go. There are sculptures on the island, I know. I've seen some dotted around, and this would be an ideal spot to come and put some of your work on display. Ideal, people could get up close and personal without actually having to climb over it. Perfect light, protected from the elements, just the job. Just before we go, I've just spotted a pair of extreme knitting needles, which are about 3 foot long and thicker than my fingers. How you knit with those, I don't know. But get yourself down here and check it out. So the gallery, the James Mellon Gallery at the Erin Arts Centre, the second of our little walk-rounds of the gallery spaces on the Isle of Man, and I can only encourage you to get out and support them. We really are lucky to have places like the Erin Arts Centre on the Isle of Man as a multifunctional venue which can host musical concerts as well as theatre and lectures as well as exhibitions. We're heading up north next, I think, to Laxey to be exact. Stay tuned. That'll be coming in weeks, not that far distant. That's about it for this week, though. Don't forget, if you want to hear anything again, go to manxradio.com, download the Spotlight podcast, listen wherever you want. Up a tree, perhaps. We'll be back next week when we will be celebrating creativity. Drop me a line with any artistic thoughts or ideas. Stay creative yourself. I'll see you next week. Cheerio.